It's that time of year, folks, where I go through all the different versions of Football Manager 21 that have been released and let you have a little look at them so you can decide which ones you want to buy. We've already made videos on the full PC version, the mobile version, the Xbox version. This video is about FM Touch, specifically on PC, but with FM Touch, it's actually exactly the same game across the different platforms, so across PC and tablet. If you do want me to make a separate video specifically showing you it on my iPad Pro, I can do. Let me know down in the description below, but I'll get the disclaimer out there up front. It is the same. It's the same every year. Feel free to go back and look through the FM19, FM20 versions of the two videos. I don't want to make an extra video if it's not needed. So hopefully this one gets the job done, but I'm willing to do the extra one if you want it. So let me know down in the comments section below. But without further ado, let's have a look at FM21 Touch. Hello folks and welcome to my first look at FM21 Touch. I'm Kev and I make daily Football Manager videos, including this one and including going through looking at every single version of the game that's coming out this year. They're conveniently put together in a nice little playlist that I'll put in the description below. So if you're still not sure which version you want, hopefully that playlist can help you out. And if you're just looking for Football Manager content, I urge you to subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. I've been releasing 2 videos a day since FM21 beta dropped about a month ago. There's going to be daily content continuing for the foreseeable future, and I'm sure there'll be stuff in there that you'll like, guides, tutorials, and lots of Let's Play content, including my big series for the year, Non-Need to Legend, which is now a couple of weeks in, and well worth getting involved in. But without too much of a sales pitch from me up front, I think that was quite good for me. Let's have a look at FM21 on Touch. You can see we've started the game up, but we haven't actually started a new game. So we'll have a look at what options we've got. And as with FM Touch every year, you have all the same options you have in the main game. So career, fantasy draft, online, create a club, but you also have the challenge mode and the versus mode. So challenge mode is where you can, do I want the touch optimized? You know what, we'll do the touchscreen optimized skin because that'll at least show you what it looks like on an iPad for those of you who want to be able to see both. So if we have a look at challenge mode, yeah, I already said yes to this Football Manager. You're gonna... Maybe it doesn't want me to do the touchscreen optimized skin. Fair enough. I give up with this game sometimes. But it's got all the same usual challenges in that it has every year, which they are quite fun. Certainly whenever I play on the iPad or the Switch or any of the non-mainline PC versions, I tend to be doing a short blast on something like this. It's become something of a tradition for me on Christmas Day to play FM Touch on my iPad and do one of these challenges just in the background while all the family stuff is going on. Got to get some Football Manager in while family stuff is going on. And you also have the versus mode, which isn't available in the full game. This is how you can export teams from FM21 normal version on PC, import them into Touch and play them against each other. So this was how I managed to play 2 of my teams from my main saves last year, play them against each other, because you can export the teams from FM21, but to get them to play each other, you have to use versus mode in Touch. I don't know why it's done that way. It just is. But we're going to start a career, and we may as well start it with my team, Peterborough. We'll hit quick start and get the game up and running. And like I say, it is exactly the same on iPad. The only reason I'm not showing you this video on iPad is because it's just a little bit more hassle to record, and it does that weird screen shape because the iPad screen isn't a 1080p screen. It's a weird Apple resolution. So you end up watching the video with weird black bars on either the sides or the top, unless you're watching it on an Apple device. So like I say, let me know in the comments if you really want it. If you don't believe me and you really want to see it running on an iPad, I can do that video too. But I usually do both. But with the Xbox edition this year, the Switch edition still to come in a week or two's time, maybe a Stadia edition on the horizon as well, I'm in danger of getting into double figures for first look videos for what is ultimately a very similar game, regardless of what platform you're playing it on. If you've played the PC version or the Xbox version, or you've seen any of my content on any of those, you'll notice these screens all look absolutely identical so far, and they are. The structure of the game is always exactly the same. In fact, I was having a look to see what the headline features for FM Touch are this year, And it's all talking about the headline. It's the same sort of new headline features that we've had in the main game. It's all about the changes to the matchday UI, the matchday presentation, the end of season review stuff, the improvements to the match engine, and the analytics stuff like XG. All that stuff that's been added into the main game has been added into FM Touch as well. And what you don't get in FM Touch is the same stuff you don't normally get in FM Touch. So it's a streamlined version of the main game. So you'll notice starting the game up, rather than having 9 or 10 inbox messages, we've only got 4 because we're not doing press conferences. There's no press conferences in Touch. You'll get the odd media question, but it'll just be one question. So there's no press conferences. There's no team talks. Tactical familiarity isn't a thing. You can basically change tactics at will, although for the first time this year, it looks like you can have multiple tactics loaded up. But you can just set them in and they're already completely familiar with them. So you don't have to teach your team how to do tactics. They can just do them. So it doesn't have as much of the micromanaging stuff that you get in the main game. You'll see that there's no dynamics tab on here. So we're not having to deal with who are your team leaders, who are your social groups. Morale isn't as much of an issue as it is in the main game. Training is massively simplified in FM Touch compared to what it is in the main game, to the point where you literally say, do you want to do it yourself or do you want your assistant manager to do it? And if you're doing it yourself, it's really just a case of saying what my focus is going to be. So I want to focus on attacking for a week or so, and that's it. You've set your training. So training is hugely simplified, and that's the idea of FM Touch. It's taking out some of the micromanaging stuff to allow you to get through matches quicker, get through seasons quicker, and just focus in on, I guess, the core parts of Football Manager as a gameplay experience, which is transfers and matches. That's what, certainly if you're a new player, that's what you're coming in looking to do. You want transfers, you want matches, and they are both very much within the game with a lot of the extra fluff taken out. So transfers are super easy. Let's just pick a player. We're going to sign Kellen Gordon, and you can see he's one of the few players that's already been scouted. The scout reports are a lot more FM20 style than necessarily FM21 style. A little bit easier to interpret, less information on them, but you do still have the analytical, statistical analysis stuff that's new in FM21. Obviously, we don't have any yet because we haven't played any games yet, so there's been nothing to analyse. Your team report and stuff is all still in there as well, but again, it's not quite. I mean, I say it's not quite as in depth. It looks pretty in depth. And you've got the date report stuff in there as well. So team report stuff looks good. Staff, less complex. With staff, you just literally hire a player in the key positions. So you have one physio, you have one assistant manager. You don't go and hire a load of coaches and a load of different scouts and medical team and all that kind of stuff. It's simplified. It's all about simplify. Get the game moving along nice and quickly. Finances is pretty similar to the main game, and then your development center. It's in, but again, it's simplified. You've got a reserve squad, which are all your players that are not in your first team. You don't have under 23s and under 18s. You've not got an under 18 manager and all that kind of stuff. Your reserves do have fixtures, but it's not like two different teams that are being independently managed. It's all simplified. So let's just show you how simple it can be to buy a player. So we've got Kellen Gordon, who we're going to buy. We don't have the agent interaction, it seems. Do we have agent? I don't think we do. You've got the microtransaction stuff you can add in if you want to. It looks like agents haven't made it into FM Touch. That's one of the other new features for the main game this year. I've accidentally got myself into a tutorial here. But you can just make an offer, suggest a price. How much have we got in our transfer budget? We've got 400,000. So we probably want to try and push this down a little bit if we can. And then it's as simple as that. Offer is accepted. And then any moment now, we'll do the contract negotiations. And again, it's nice and simple stuff. You do have the club vision and club expectation stuff that's in the main game. Here we've got the contract negotiations that have come in. You can hand it over to your director of football or do them yourself. They're pretty straightforward, very similar to how they are in the main version of the game. It's just a case of am I missing that button? I've got a can of Coke in the way of that part of the screen. So why do I keep getting into tutorials? Moving the can. There we go. It's a can in a cup. I'm a messy, messy monster. And you can negotiate all this stuff as you need to, but you can also just bang, done. Kellen Gordon looks like he's coming in as a new right back for us. And we will, we've got the code of conduct. That's fine. Let's pick a tactic. I've actually been managing Peterborough on my Twitch stream. So the tactic I've been using on Twitch has been a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress. So we're just gonna do that as a basic structure because we've got a friendly game coming up, which I'm going to play to show you what the match engine looks like. And if you've seen any of my content this year, it will look very familiar because it's the same match engine that's in the same game, and that's regardless of whether you get the PC version or the tablet version of the game. So this is the closest you get to press conferences and media interaction in Touch. So rather than doing a full-on press conference, what are my initial thoughts on taking the job? I respond. It's just one answer. There you go. I'm honoured. Media interaction done. So it all is about speeding things along. So from here, I can hit quick pick if I want to. Obviously, you can move players around within the system if you want to, and still drag people out and put them where you want to put them. It's not limiting you to that kind of thing. It's not simplified to that extent. I'm just tweaking this ever so slightly to make it look exactly the way it looked in my Twitch version. And then you just proceed to the match, and we get into the match engine, and it's the same new look match day experience that you've got in the main game. So we've got the new look back of the program team sheets, and no team talks. So we don't have to faff about with team talks. Obviously, if you're playing on a tablet, ironically, the Touchline tablet is going to be a little bit less prominent because you're likely to be playing on a smaller resolution than what I'm playing on my PC. We've got all the tutorial stuff in again. We obviously, if you're playing for the first time, you'll do the tutorial stuff. For me, I'm not going to do that because I know how to play the game. I am just going to adjust it. Oh, no, it's actually not running that slowly. I thought it was running slowly, but you can see it is it's the same, very snazzy, very pretty new system, and it looks like we've won a penalty really early on. So let's step up, take the penalty, and grab our first FM21 Touch goal of the year. I think I've got match sounds on. One moment. Luckily, it seems like producer Kev is a pro today, unlike in yesterday's Xbox video. And I've actually got the sounds turned off on the recording, so you didn't actually hear them, but I've turned them off in game now. What I was saying before is about the Touchline tablet. If you're playing this on a tablet, this is likely to be smaller. Probably maybe just the top line of that. Maybe you're only going to get 2 boxes, so slightly less information on your match day view. But everything else that you've got within here is going to be pretty much as is. The dugout is one of the big new features, or it's not really being used at all in this game. You can drop that down to make more space on your match day experience. But other than that, this is a match of FM21, regardless of what platform you're playing on. Apart, of course, from FM Mobile, which is still the top-down 2D view. Because let's face it, would you want this on a mobile? Would it even work on a mobile? One day, I'm sure it will. And I know if you've got some of the bigger, fancier Android phones, I know you can run FM Touch on some of those. I've got as my secondary phone, my business phone. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Would that run FM Touch? I'm giving you a guide, and I'm now asking you a question. Can I run FM Touch on my phone? That'd be fascinating. I want to see how it runs. But other than that, it's fairly standard stuff. You can make your substitutions by going into tactics and sub screen like that. You don't even have to pause the game to do it. So we can make a few changes if it's actually going to let me do them. Oh, we've got a tutorial again. Go and leave it alone with the tutorials. Goodness me. There we go. We're just making a few changes to show you how easy they are to do, confirming them, and then just getting back into and continuing the game. It looks like we've won another penalty here. Sometimes when you're really good playing against a team that's not, we are playing against St. Neots, who are a deep in the lower league team. Sometimes they do struggle to cope with your defenders. That's a solid penalty from Sammy Schmodix. Lovely stuff. And I've noticed that when I'm a really strong team against a really weak team, penalties do seem to be a little bit more prominent this year. But it's just very, very nicely set up and done. One thing that is in FM Touch that's not in the main game, it should have the instant result button. I'm wondering if it's that. Is that the instant result button? Are you sure you want to leave this match to your staff? Yes. So you can have an instant result button. So if you want to go even quicker on FM Touch, that's not available in the main game. In FM Touch, you can do an instant result button. And then there you go. We ended up winning 4-1. Sammy Schmonix did score one more goal. There's your match stats and all your details of your players. So you can even, you know, that's really handy for late in the season when you know you're going to finish mid-table and you just want to get into the transfer window again. You can just start instant resulting, which, like I say, you can't do in the main game. So FM Touch, I've always described it as like perfect for dads. I am a dad myself, and obviously I find the time to play the full game because it's my job. But certainly when my kids were younger, I didn't get to play a lot of Football Manager, not as much as I'd done before or since, because it is such a time sink. Whereas FM Touch, being a much more simplified version of the game, plus having it available on Switch, on tablets, on more mobile portable devices, means that you can actually get your Football Manager fix and fit it around family life. You don't have to sit down and play for 2 or 3 hours and play one match like you could potentially do in the full game. If you play for 2 or 3 hours, you could make it to Christmas in your first season if you really use all of the speeding things up options like your instant results and not really faffing about with too much scouting and transfer type stuff. And that's the attraction of the game. It's the fact that you can get that Football Manager fix without having to dedicate hundreds of hours to the game each year. So it's always a very popular version of the game. Like I say, it's one that I always pick up, even if it's just to play it on Christmas Day and when I'm on the train and stuff like that. I still love to have my Football Manager fix when I'm away from home or unable to sit at the PC, and it's fantastic for that. And like I say, it's just quick. We're still getting the introductions come through. But we could be at the first day of the season within 3 minutes and be at Christmas within an hour. Probably not an hour unless I instant resulted everything, but it's a lot closer to old school like Championship Manager games where you just plow through the seasons and plow through the matches. And for that, it definitely has its place in the Football Manager lineup. If you have enjoyed that video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Let me know down in the comments section if you'd like to see more stuff like this. Specifically, do you still want to see a version of it running on tablet? Because it is the exact same game. It would just be showing how it runs on my iPad, which isn't necessarily useful unless you've got the exact same iPad as me. But I can make the video if you want the video. There'll also be videos to come on the Switch version and the Stadia version as and when they happen. And if you want me to go into more depth on anything we've covered in the video, let me know that down in the comments too. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.